This is Betrayed Realm, a roguelike game I have stopped developing about a year ago. To be honest, I love developing it, but there was a lot of issues and important things not working. Very important things not working. Basically, I had a choice. Start the project again, with me having to rewrite and reinvent almost everything, or accept that I have failed. I have chosen. Yeah, I went on creating another game and then another, but I still remember the feeling of me going to get something to eat and just feeling empty about the coconut game. Not necessarily burnt out, but just not satisfied. And decided to do whatever it takes to complete the vision. Starting with, this is a roguelike game focused on fast and aggressive melee combat. You play as a mercenary hired by a town to protect them against bandits roaming these war-plagued lands. The setting is medieval and it's going to be kind of brutal, because I will be focusing on a region left without any law enforcement, guards, due to the war, so bandits have taken over and make profit. This brings me to another of my failures. First, by first finding every town in specified financial declare. Then based on those conditions I just named, calculate their costs. Then dig it down below cost and check before the vision target is blocked by skills. If it's blocked, it down, doesn't move there. Else it's blocked, goes down all the options until it finds one that is blocked. If it's unbelievable chance, it can't find it out, it's blocked, it just doesn't. Fuck that. The solution is actually pretty simple. In the past, my brain came up with the stupid idea of if enemy can avoid wall. It's smart. Very smart. When see the player. Attack. It use dagger when player too close. To stop my madness from taking over, how do you actually make smart enemies? First, I have removed all of these unnecessary obstacles that don't add anything to the gameplay except being an obstacle, slowing down your killing spree and limiting the possibilities of enemy AI. And now that I have all of this space to play around, it's time for group hive mind. You can make enemies behave in certain ways. They can keep distance away from you, use different attacks depending on how close they are to you, but in the end it's very repetitive. What makes them smart is how they use their numbers and abilities against you, and how they react to your actions. To showcase you what I call the group hive mind, sadly I just have a sheep. There is not much to do with a sheep, but when you come close to them or attack them, all sheep panic and start running to a place far away from you, where they form a group in fear. You monster. They just want to eat grass and chill. The odd art style needed to change. It didn't fit the atmosphere I am going for. First, I like to define an art style by making a tree. For some reason it does a good job at defining what colors I should use, how the shading should look, the outlines and shapes. After some trial and error, I have decided to keep things simple. Each biome is going to be defined by a color. The forest you are seeing is a combination of green and blue, so gold colors. The shading doesn't have any shadow or light, I just use hatching where a shadow should be. For anyone that played the Darkest Dungeon, that is the vibe I am going for. Next, I changed the entity anatomy. In the past, I was forced to use a very small figure that had the size of a square because of the collisions and hitboxes, but now in the 3D space and with the perspective being applied, I can add in a bit of realism to fit the theme, which will also make the designing enemies in the next devlog much more fun. I made a new player character, and as you can see, he's moving, but how? To make better animations, I have acquired a new software, Spine 2D. Using it, I rigged the player and made some temporary animations: idle, walk, dash, sword attack 0 and 1. In the past I used Unity sprite skin and Unity animation system to make animations, and I must say that was pain and miserable. This is bliss. Attack hitboxes. Man, I need this game finished just so I can release my anger from figuring them out. Now I basically treat them like projectiles. It fixes everything. You can clearly see the attack's reach and size, which makes the attacks really responsive compared to the past. But attacking often missed, leaving the player confused. Why? Why did I miss? Why is he still alive? It will allow me to be much more creative when making melee weapons, and even enemy melee attacks will feel better. And new combat mechanics are coming soon, probably in the next devlog, so you should subscribe, or this is you. Bye bye.